All right, we are on a crisp 3-hour pace here. I'm really enjoying myself, though. I don't really care. You know, it's the holidays. This is our gift to us, the 3-hour gift to our fans, 3-hour podcast. East playoffs. We'll start with the Milwaukee Bucks, which leads me to bold prediction number 3. I do not think the Bucks will be the 1 seed this year. Yeah. Their over-under is 50.5. They're plus 240 for the conference, plus 550 for the title. They added a guy named Drew Holiday. Their benches, I'm just not a fan. I've never liked DJ Augustine at any point. Bobby Portis is one of those guys. He's good like once a month and everybody gets excited, but he's Bobby Portis. Bryn Forbes, whatever. DiVincenzo, who somehow is the why can't I speak? DiVincenzo, who was somehow the key to the Bogdanovich trade, is like, really? I don't really remember any moments from him last year. I don't really.
He's better than that, by the way. DiVincenzo's better than the way you're describing him, but he looked horrified in the playoffs. There was moments there where I was like, okay.
I just didn't think he should be the focal point of a Bogdanovich deal.
Yeah, but you just made fun of the Kings for getting nothing for the asset. So if you were going to do that, you're also going to now make fun of DiVincenzo?
Yeah, that's what I do.
Okay, all right.
That's what I do. Do I contradict myself sometimes? Yeah. I didn't think that was really a good load. The Drew Holiday thing will be significant. There's been a lot of pieces about how important the pick and roll with him and Giannis is going to be. And I think that's a crucial point because I think this team, especially in the big playoff series, needed that one signature play, especially in the last 3-4 minutes that they did not have normally. And Middleton, he's overpaid, but whatever. That's a nice guy to have on your team. So they do have 3 awesome guys, and they're definitely a title contender. The over-under at 50.5 means they'd have to be around 57. And I'm going under. That seems high to me. I don't like it, especially with the condensed season. And I'm just going under. What do you think, House?
I like the over. This team is nothing if not a regular season juggernaut machine. That's what Bud does. It's regular season Bud. Giannis, having just signed that mega super duper extension, is ready to perhaps take it up even another level. I don't know what that level is, except for a level of aggression in the low post, perhaps, and also perhaps he's going to be even better shooting it from 3, more consistent. And I think they have pieces that you look on paper that you're like, I don't love all that, but they are so cohesive. And again, in a regular season kind of format, I just like the over. I don't feel like we're asking very much for this team to get to around 58 wins. They've been a 60-win team each of the 2 previous seasons.
Russillo?
Yeah, they're right on it. I mean, they went 56-17, so you figure the extra game. That's basically what they're saying again here, is that they're the same team and same record from last year, and they destroyed people in the regular season last. That point differential for them was off the charts. Their defensive numbers, they were way ahead of number 2. Their offense just wasn't as good. So you have to keep looking at this just as a regular season thing because we all know what all the playoff hangups are. And because it's new and different, it's often another disappointment. I'm going over because I think they're just going to pile up wins all the time against those shitty teams as they still try to prove how good they are with new pieces and being motivated by it. But I don't like the bench, and every conversation about them in the regular season has almost no impact on the playoffs now. Not with Bud in charge, and I'm not even knocking the head coach. It's just none of this matters. None of this matters. And it's also why I think when you talk about the MVP stuff a little bit later, it's probably not going to matter what Giannis does because voters are going to go, we already gave it to him. And look what happened. So, I mean, what is he going to do beyond what he did last year? So I think he'll be motivated for the contract. I think they're going to pick off easy wins. The regular season part of this works, but none of this means anything. None of this is my evaluation about them in the playoffs.
He would basically have to average 37 and 20 to win a 3rd straight MVP because people just aren't going to vote for him this year. And that's just
you're absolutely right.
My motivation with the slight under, and I think it's going to be a slight under, is I think the top of the East got better, no question. And I think the middle class got better. I just think the conference sucked last year, and it's a better conference. And granted, the bottom 5 are still bad, but that Wiz Hawks level is just more competitive than it used to be in the past. And then Brooklyn is way better. And I think Philly's going to be better. The Celtics are about the same. Miami's going to be better as a regular season team. Indiana's more healthy.
You talk me into it. You talk me into it. Put me down for an under.
Wow. Okay.
No, you're right. That middle, whatever, it shouldn't be the middle class because they're upper class, and then there's a second tier. I think
Those
whatever
two
the
tiers
third
are way
tier,
better.
if there's 4 tiers in the East, the third tier is much deeper than it was before. But the bottom of it's so bad. Those teams down there are so bad that, we'll get to it later. So, yeah, put me down as under.
Okay.
I'm sticking with my over.
Next one. This is my third bold prediction, or fourth. I don't remember how many I have. Brooklyn Nets over under 45.5, division plus 140, conference plus 270, title 6-1. I think they're going to be the 1 seed. I think this team's going to be really good. I think they are absolutely loaded offensively. And granted, it was a stupid preseason game that I watched them destroy the Celtics, but they just have a ton of offense. This is a team that, even if Kyrie is almost a luxury on this team, as weird as that sounds, because he's a max guy. Whatever he does for this team is an added benefit because they have all these other awesome pieces in place. They have a bench that can come in and actually extend leads with Dinwiddie and LeVert. And Durant, to me, looks like he is 100% back. I cannot believe how good Durant looks. Durant is one of the 5 best players in the league again. Nash has been very careful about saying he's 100% back. He's saying, look, it's going to take a while. You got to use the rhythm or whatever. But he's basically saying Durant's back. And I think the MVP odds for him are dumb. I think they should be way lower. And just in general, I think this team's going to be really, 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 really good. And I'm going way, way over House.
Yeah, I'm going to join you on that over. And the point you made about Kyrie as a luxury is to me the crucial point. They can indulge him going off and doing all of the performative nonsense, whatever way he wants to express himself. They don't necessarily need him on the basketball court for many more than 60 of the 72 games. And that's right in line with how many basketball games he actually plays each year. He plays about, 75% of the regular season, and maybe some playoff games also. Let him go off and be on his own island when he plays and he's motivated and they need him. Occasionally he's incandescent and unstoppable, and that will be very good for them. But they're so deep, top to bottom. I absolutely share your amazement at Durant. He looks just like how he looked 18 months ago. It's kind of bizarre.
And I think he's at peace in a lot of ways with this situation in a good way. I just think he likes it. I think he feels like this is his team. It's his coach. It's a coach that he has a good relationship. I don't think the relationship with Kerr was even a relationship by the time he left the Warriors. And everything revolves around him. And he's really motivated to be great again. And I think when he got hurt, Russillo and I were on this podcast talking about how we thought he was the best player in the league. And that included LeBron. And this was during the playoffs. I don't know if he'll ever be as good as he was during that stretch again, but I think he could be 97, 98% there. And the one guy that really jumped out at me just in the preseason game was all the wide open shots Harris is going to get now. You have Harris, who's one of the 5 best shooters in the league, who's now just wide open all the time and is perfect with Durant. And they have these different lineups where it's like whoever, Jared Allen, Durant, Kyrie, Shamet, and Harris. And Shamet and Harris just in their 2 spots, just getting open shots as everybody tries to figure out who to guard. And they have a really good coach. I think Nash is going to be a great coach. I think he's been waiting for this moment for 20 years. Russillo, what do you think?
I'm over. Kyrie's the only thing that scares me. If he decides to go, because it's just not it's a matter of if, it's when he just decides that he's going to be super difficult. He misses a ton of time. I mean, in the last 5 years, I think he's played, here's the number. Last 5 years, he's played 272 games. He's missed 128 of them. He's missed the playoffs in 18 and 20. So, I mean, look, he can burn whatever he wants. He can do this Kyrie, Kanye, Irving transformation that I've been talking about on my podcast. He can do all that stuff. But if he's winning games and getting you buckets and Durant's cool with it, then it's not going to matter because his team's really good. They can throw a lot of offense at you. They have a lot of depth. This bullshit about DeAndre Jordan starting over Jared Allen and that kind of stuff, well, we'll worry about who's closing because Jared Allen's just gives them a better shot. I think Karis LeVert's a player that, depending on how astute you are and how much you watch, I think there's some people that think he's amazing, and I think he's a guy that's really skilled and I kind of like, but I think it's dangerously aggressive out there at times. So I don't even know how he would fit. And I think Spencer Dinwiddie he's going to be kind of miserable too at times. So there's little elements, but just if the basketball part of it all works out, and I am surprised so many people are like, man, Durant looks good again. Like he's not 100. What did you expect? And his game is built on shooting and his handle. It's not about quick cutting, unbelievable agility. Like when Westbrook ever declines, it's going to be ugly. Durant's always going to get you buckets by shooting. So I like the basketball part of this. As long as Kyrie can stay the course for a year, I think you're good. But I'm worried about it. But I'll take the over.
The Dinwiddie piece is interesting because that Brooklyn game, it seems like he's bought into this team. I thought he was going to be unhappy heading into the season. Where do I fit in? I'm going for a contract, all that stuff. And I think he's going to be really valuable for this team. And, I feel the same way that you do about LeVert. He can't be the focal point of a James Harden trade. That's ridiculous. But if he's the lead scorer on the second team, who can come in and give you
totally. 7
minutes in the second quarter where you can run plays for him. He's really good at that. And he's going against the other team's bench, by the way. I really like this team. I can't believe I'm saying that because Kyrie's on it. But I think they all know Kyrie's a weirdo. I think Nash played with a bunch of weirdos on the Suns. He played with Dwight Howard. He's been around weirdos for his whole professional career. And I think he's going to know how to manage it. And I really think it's important that they got D'Antoni. It's like D'Antoni he coached a 65-win team 3 years ago. And he's basically this completely overqualified offensive coordinator. I think this team is going to be really, really, really gifted offensively. And, look, it's a new group. They're going to have a couple moments when, somebody stands up to them, couple hard fouls, somebody tries to get in Kyrie's head, somebody's super physical with them. They're going to have a moment. There's going to be some Kyrie controversy. There's going to be hiccups. But I think this is the best team in the East.
We're going to see, though.
We're going to see.